And we're live on Facebook. Okay, so for people on Facebook that just missed it, it was 6:50. So you know how last week I started late because I had issues. This time I was smart, and whoa, I like to see my face. There we go. This time I was smart, and I didn't start exactly an hour early, but I went to my live stream settings at 6 o'clock to make sure there was no issues. I found a few issues, but I was able to be ready to start at 6:30, and the only thing I was doing, both on Facebook and YouTube, was just not going live button. The last thing you do before you go live on Facebook is you push the go live button, right? That's the only thing I didn't do. I fixed all the issues, and that was the only thing I didn't do. So then I was just counting down, staring at the clock, and then I was like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're live. I clicked go live on YouTube first, and at first YouTube was loading, and it says it's going live. It didn't say we're live. It says it's going live, and I'm like, oh, come on, please don't give me any issues. I just resolved this. And luckily, 5-10 seconds later, it was live. And it was right after the clock went from 4:59 to 6:49 to 6:50. And so, it was only 10 seconds after it was 6:50, so we didn't start late at all, I would say. 10 seconds is not a big deal. But anyway, I was just saying that to the YouTube viewers, and then I realized, okay, let's hurry and go live on Facebook. So for people on Facebook, I'm sorry for starting a minute late, but that's better than 40 minutes late, right? I started the YouTube one first. So, you know, because I have to start 2 live streams at the same time, don't expect to look for me right at 6:50, because I may be going on YouTube first, or I may be going on Facebook first, and then a couple minutes later start the other one. So always give me a couple minutes, but it shouldn't be 40 minutes like last week was. So anyway, so now that this is just like 2 weeks ago, where we went live right at 6:50. I think I started the Facebook one first 2 weeks ago, and then I went live on YouTube a couple minutes later. So again, same thing. But so yeah, this is going just as great as it did 2 weeks ago. So that is great. I forgot to put in the headphones. I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, yeah, this time I didn't forget the headphones. They're right here. I just need to plug them in. There we go. As soon as we start the show, I'll put them in my ears. Yes. Alright, we might need to do a test run to make sure, that we're not getting the sound this time. But anyway, yeah, it's so happy that we're not having another situation like last week where I struggled to start the live stream. So thank goodness. So yeah, for those who, I don't think we have anyone new. I think everyone who watched 2 weeks ago is still here. But for those who were watching me for the first time, a week ago, where I was starting late, the normal schedule is that we'll start at 6:50. And then we'll start the show at 7. So we're not starting the show yet because it's not 7. I just figured I'd give 10 minutes for everyone to jump on. And just, if it's just as like a Zoom meeting, for example. When you have a Zoom meeting before class starts, sometimes you like to jump on like 5 minutes early. And the teacher or instructor would probably say, hey, how was your day? Good. I'm so happy you can make it to the class, Kind of like that. This is our 10 minutes of introduction before we get started. But 7 to 9:15 we do our show. And then 9:15 to 9:30, we'll do Q&A. I've done this live stream twice now, and no one has left questions in the comments. So I'm surprised no one has questions for me. And so anyway, leave your questions. Q&A panels are not as fun when there's no fans to give you questions. I get I'm not that popular, but anyway, any questions about the show? I'll try to keep it spoiler free. Anyway, I did send a poll, so only a couple people answered it. It looks like everyone's favorite character is Emma Swan. That was one poll I sent. Another thing was, what was your favorite part about the show? I had one answer on there that was more than one answer, so that's what I clicked. I love the costumes, I love the storylines, I love the plot, twists, and turns, I love all the answers, so I made that as an option in case you couldn't choose. But favorite character, I think that's a little easier to choose from. And I chose Emma Swan. So, if you haven't answered those polls yet, I hope you do. If you weren't with us 2 weeks ago, I have Once Upon a Time posters, but they're on the other side of my room. And if I showed them, if you want to look at them, feel free. They're in the first live stream from 2 weeks ago. But my room was a little messy, and I didn't want to show it. Not the same mess. It's a new mess now, so I don't want to show it. But yeah, if you want to see my Once Upon a Time posters, go watch the live stream from 2 weeks ago. I'm not gonna show my room again. But anyway, but yeah, the Once Upon a Time posters over there. Then you got my bed, which is why we can't do it on that side of the room, because of my bed. That's why you can't see the Once Upon a Time posters. And I'm not going to put in the effort to switch my bed around and move my desk over there. So that's why you're getting these Back to the Future posters instead of Once Upon a Time. I did mention 2 weeks ago that I had a Once Upon a Time shirt, but I lost it and never could find it since, like, my mission. So all my Once Upon a Time merchandise is, like, missing from my childhood. Not all of it. I have the DVDs, I have the posters, right? But, like, I'm not going to tear them off the wall. So anyway, sorry, there's nothing really to see in the background, but we're here to watch the show, not watch me. I'm probably talking your ear off, and the show would be more interesting than me talking your ear off. Which I do give commentary during the show, right? But I don't want to spoil too much, or ruin it for new people watching. So I'll try not to talk as much during the live stream, which is why if you're not watching the show, this live stream is going to get pretty boring starting at 7. So you probably want to watch the show so it's a little more interesting, because I will say a few comments here and there during the episode, but I try to keep a decent amount of quiet. I'm not going to be quiet the whole time. So for those who are viewing the show for the first time, beware that I will throw out comments here and there, but I'll try to keep them short and brief. Like, oh, that's a funny quote from Rumpelstiltskin, and comment, and not try to ramble on about it. I'll comment here and there, but I'll mostly try to keep it quiet for the new viewers, but also keep it interesting for the old viewers. Just, quoting the show and trying to bring out nostalgia during our watch. So yeah, it's 6:58, so I'm going to do a test run to make sure the sound is only going through my headphones. Yep, okay, it is. It's only going through my headphones. So, on that note, we are good and ready to get started. I have my live stream pulled up on my phone, the YouTube version at least. On my computer, I have my Once Upon a Time tab, and I have my Facebook tab. I do have a YouTube tab because I have to start the live stream on YouTube, but I'm watching it as a viewer on my phone. And I always choose the YouTube version, so no offense, Facebook. I love YouTube more, but Facebook allows me to reach out to more people who don't watch YouTube, so. These are the only 2 platforms I use, though, so hopefully you use one of those. If you don't use YouTube or Facebook, then you're missing out on this, but, wow, my phone is slow. But, let me make sure my live stream is good here. Yes, it's good. Okay, so my YouTube one is fine. My phone is just slow at loading, but that's okay. At least I'm doing this on my computer. That's working fine. I turned down the volume so my voice doesn't echo from the phone. Because anytime someone watches the live stream and they come to my room, it echoes. Because when you have 2 devices together, it creates annoying noise. So, I'm just going to turn my phone off. Alright. So, without further ado, it's 7 o'clock now. Whew! I was like, okay, how long until we can get started? Because I'm running out of things to say. And then I'm looking at the clock here, and I just saw it change from 6:59 to 7. So, perfect. We're ready to get started. Okay. So remember, sometimes when you're watching this on Disney Plus, and you click the episode, sometimes it loads and loads and loads. So that would put you a few seconds behind if you don't click the episode. So I'll give you a few seconds to do that. Click Season 1, Episode 7. Click the episode. But then once the episode plays, after it's done loading, once it plays, pause it, rewind it, and have it ready to push play at 0 seconds. And so, anyway, I know some of you would just prefer to just push play from the Disney Plus screen, but Disney Plus sometimes takes forever to load. And so, that's why I recommend pushing the episode first, and then pausing it and rewind it to 0 seconds, because once you push the episode and you're watching the episode, and then you pause it, then when you push play, it doesn't load. So then that way we're starting at the same time. So, okay, have your episode ready. I hope you pushed the episode. I hope you have the play button ready. I hope at the bottom of your screen, not the live stream screen, the screen you're watching the show on, I hope you have the little bar that has 0 seconds and 43 minutes at the end, because each episode's 43 minutes. Anyway, I don't think I need to be that descriptive. But anyway, have your timestamp at 0, and we're going to start in 3, 2, 1, now! Once upon a time, it's a wolf on the title screen. This will be a sad episode because someone's going to die at the end of it, and I'm not going to tell you who. I hope you have your tissues ready. Emma's a hard person to fall in love with. But, yeah, Graham's a little weird. Drunk. You kiss Emma, then you kiss Regina. Oh my goodness. For kids watching! That's probably gross, but... Alright, we moved on from that scene. We're now in the flashback. Regina's castle. One thing I forgot to say is that when I count down 3, 2, 1, I don't mean start at 1, I mean start at now. So 3, 2, 1 now, so hopefully you guys didn't start a second early. Even if you did, it's not too much of a difference. Snow White's father just died, in case you're wondering. That's not the character I was talking about, but I forgot Snow White's father dies in this episode too. And that's what happens in the normal fairy tales, so it's not a spoiler. I can't imagine what it'd be like to lose your father, especially at a young age. It's in the original fairy tale, so I mean, it had to happen. We will see her father in other flashbacks, though, before he died. I don't think you're really here for Snow White, Regina. You hate her. She hides it at first, but Snow White will find out. Her stepmother hates her. And it's a secret. The reason why Regina hates Snow White is a secret that has not been shown on the show yet. So you'll have to find out when you get there. One to go. Regina killed Snow White's father. And who's the huntsman that Regina needs to kill Snow White? Here we go. It's our present day Graham. Except his name wasn't Graham back then. His name was the Huntsman. He didn't have a real he didn't have a real name in Fairy Tale Land. Sheriff Graham is the Huntsman. And he was raised by wolves, which is why there was a wolf in the title sequence. In the past, yes, you have. That wolf is not gonna eat you. He's your friend. Though I would be scared if I saw a wolf by my car. A wolf in Storybrooke. Wouldn't be the first time. A wolf stopped Emma from leaving in the pilot. There's a wall. She's hiding it. She loves Graham. Exactly. She's had trauma with men in the past that she kind of has a hard time to fall in love with. In fact, she's passed one date before. She says one date is all she ever goes to, but she's passed one date before. With Henry's father, obviously. But that was the only one. Rumple a wolf. That's a cool transition. The woods are so similar that if you didn't see Graham in his huntsman clothes, you couldn't tell it was the past. That was a good transition from present to past. If you remember the story of Snow White, a huntsman takes Snow White to the woods and then she runs. It's not a once upon a time thing, it's the Snow White fairy tale thing, so. Not a spoiler, that should be normal. Sheriff Graham is the one who told Snow White to run. Apparently, though, the Disney Snow White doesn't tell us that the huntsman was raised by wolves, so That's a once upon a time thing. I can't imagine anybody being raised by wolves. I think they would eat you alive. They must be really nice wolves to keep a human around and not use it for their supper. Flashback. Fairy tale life. It looks like Grandma's starting to remember who he is. Okay, it's fine. It just stopped for like a few seconds. If you wanna if you wanna sync your episode, you've been talking to Henry, is what Snow White just said. Snow White's about to say which makes no sense, so makes no sense there. She said it right when I said it now. Alright, for anyone who might be, because of my, I lost Wi-Fi for like 10 seconds, so for anyone who's not watching this, for anyone, I'm gonna just pause the episode really quick. For anyone who's not watching it at the same time I am, because I lost Wi-Fi for 10 seconds, there's exactly 23 minutes and 24 seconds left. So, if you want to rewind about 10 seconds or something, or 20 seconds, um, uh, just to get us back on track. 23 minutes and 24 seconds left. Not how long has it been? It doesn't. It's not telling me, but there should be 23 minutes and 24 seconds left. So I'm gonna resume the episode in three, two, one, now. The huntsman wants to kill her. Wow, we're already halfway through this episode. Time flies. Doesn't Regina say that about everyone? She told Snow White to stay away from David. Well, Mary Margaret to stay away from David. Now she's telling Emma to stay away from Graham. She likes her men to be with her idea of woman. Getting help from a 10-year-old? That's not smart, Graham. 10-year-old is not a doctor. Though, in this case, because the audience knows that fairy tales are real, the characters don't, but the audience knows. Graham is kind of on the right direction. Henry can jog his fairy tale memories, but if you need a doctor, don't go to a 10-year-old for help. Go to a doctor. If you know the story of Snow White, you know the huntsman's not gonna do it. He's not gonna kill her. That's what happens in the original fairy tale. The huntsman can't find in his heart to kill Snow White. And he takes the heart of a deer instead. To trick the evil queen. You kissed my mom? You shouldn't say that to a kid. The huntsman. The evil queen's evil. She rips out hearts. She is an evil girl. Henry has a good mother and an evil mother. Reminds me of relatives of mine. I have two relative aunts, and they share kids, and one used to be dark hair, one used to be blonde hair, and Emma's blonde, Regina's dark. It kind of reminds me of that. I'm not the only one thinking that. He saw a 10-year-old for help. Graham is about to believe Henry's curse theory. You know, oh man, I was gonna say something, but it would reveal who's gonna die at the end of the episode, so I'm not gonna say it. But someone's gonna die, and the person that's gonna die is if that person did not die, the curse could have broke on this episode. But yeah, I'm not gonna say who. You probably have a good idea who because the episode's focused on one particular man. But in case you still don't know who's gonna die, I'm not gonna say who, but whoever's gonna die, because of their death, the curse is not gonna break until the end of season 1. But the curse could have almost broke in this episode if that one character did not die. So you're about to find out who it is because there's only 14 minutes left. Welcome to Regina's Vault, in which we haven't seen until this episode. This is where Regina keeps all the hearts of the people she pulled hearts out of. Don't worry, we're not going to see them that much. But, yeah, this show does get a little violent here and there. But, not too violent, I would say. There's the plot reveal. Snow White shared a secret, and it cost Regina everything. She lost so much because of the secret Snow White shared that she hates her. So that's a little reveal. Still, you don't know what she did, but that's a little reveal for later on when you find out what Snow White did to the evil queen. She did something horrible to her, but it was an accident. It's not a human heart. Regina found out very quickly. Wow, we only have 10 minutes left. I hope your tissues are ready. We're getting closer to the sad scene in a second. Regina feels betrayed. Oh dear. Two women fighting. That was violent. Regina and Emma hate each other so much that they physically fought for the first time. Regina feels betrayed. Can you guess what's going to happen next? Okay, this is where it's going to get sad, so get your tissues ready. Huh. That's Henry Mill's grave, remember from episode 2 when she killed her father? Now that was also violent and sad. So I guess this is not the first character we've seen. Well, the character we're about to see die, that's not the first time we saw someone die on the show. I mean, we saw Regina's father die at the beginning of the season. Oof. When someone takes out your heart in Once Upon a Time, you don't instantly die. You only die if it gets crushed. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he's not going to die in the past because he's in Storybrooke, but now she controls him. Your life is now in my hands. Forever. Take him to my bedchamber. Oh boy. She's gonna do weird stuff to him. I don't want to be in his shoes at all. Wow. So Regina controls him basically ever since he let Snow White go. But now we're in the present day. And this time, instead of controlling him, You're just gonna find out what she's gonna do with his heart. All her hearts from the Enchanted Forest came to Storybrooke, so I wish real world people could find this vault and then arrest her for all these people that she could potentially kill. Taking out people's hearts, you should go to jail for that. In fact, if you take a heart out in real life, they die. Emma and Sheriff Graham, they would have made a great couple. I probably just revealed who's gonna die. I'm sorry. Aww. Uh, love is kind of too late. Did you just see that flashback? Graham remembers he's awake. Emma just has to kiss him again, and then the curse can break. But we're about to see something here. Wait for it. He remembers. Graham's awake! He's no longer cursed. Just because someone broke your heart doesn't mean you should kill them. Oh my goodness. That wraps up this episode. I hope you guys are all crying your eyes out. Pretty sad. Yep, so that was episode 7. That was sad, wasn't it? I told you someone was gonna die, and as we got closer, I kind of probably spoiled who it was gonna be. But, a couple things I wanted to say after the death. So again, there was that Wi-Fi connection that I lost halfway through the episode, so hopefully with this next episode, we could start at the same time with no Wi-Fi problems. But yeah, we had Regina's father die, and even though that was kind of dark, this is the first time someone dies in the present and not the past. And so, yeah, what could have happened if Regina didn't crush Graham's heart is that, so, when Emma and Graham kissed, True Love's kiss, if you know fairy tales, you know True Love's kiss breaks the spell, right? When Prince Philip kisses Sleeping Beauty, she wakes up from the sleeping curse. When Snow White eats a poison apple, Prince Charming kisses her, and he wakes up, right? Once Upon a Time plays on this. True Love's kiss can break any spell. So when Emma and Sheriff Graham fell in love at the very end there, and they kissed, Graham woke up. He is no longer affected by the curse. He knows who he really is. Now, all they needed to do was kiss again, and Emma could believe she was the savior and break the curse. The curse could have been broken right then and there, but Regina was so determined. She was so heartbroken of her breakup with Graham, and so determined to keep the curse unbroken that she killed Graham because of her heartache, and it was just milliseconds or centimeters away from breaking the curse. So close. They almost broke the curse. And you could have almost believed the curse was going to break in that moment. But Regina stopped it from happening. And hate to break it for you, but the curse does not get broken until the end of season 1. So kind of try not to spoil much more than that. But anything that happens where the curse is about to break is probably not going to succeed well, not knowing that it's not going to break till the end of season 1. So keep that in mind, that no matter what happens in the show, Regina's always going to win until we get to the season finale, which is episode 22. So, since we're on episode 8, it's going to be a while. But we're going to start episode 8 now. So, hopefully there's no Wi-Fi problems. Push your episode, push your next episode, and then once you push it and it plays, rewind it. Because I always like starting with the recap. I think it's a good recap. Once upon a time, an evil queen cast. I like that part. So, if you want to watch this the same time I'm watching it, remember Disney Plus sometimes loads. So push the episode, and then once the episode plays, I hope it's playing right now, rewind it. And so just do it as I'm saying it. Rewind it. Make sure there's 0 seconds. If there's 0 seconds on your screen, there should be my screen says 44 minutes and 2 seconds. So hopefully there's 44 minutes and 2 seconds of the episode. That's where you should be. And so without further ado, not when I say 1, but when I say the word now, we'll push play. So have it paused at 0 seconds, and then when I say now, we're going to push play. So we're going to start the next episode. It's called Desperate Souls. So we're going to start in 3, 2, 1, now. There's always a town in Maine. Fire! Alright, we have some random person on a horse. I can't tell who that is. We're getting a Rumpelstiltskin episode. Wipe your tears away. We're moving on. This one's a more happier episode, by the way. So, hopefully you're done crying about last episode. My birthday is actually weeks away, and I hope I don't get taken like that. Though I'm not 14, I'm like, 23 almost? Sorry, my laptop just gave a warning that it was going to die, so I luckily had the cord prepared to plug in, so everything's good. It's all plugged in. It's fine. Graham was a good person. Mm-hmm. Rumple purposely said that to get Emma's to get Emma's attention. I'm gonna send them to Regina if you don't want these. Rumple? Rumple's coming from experience. He's like, Emma, make sure you have fun with your kid because you don't know how long that will last. Before you know it, you might lose your child or they might grow up. Rumple's coming from experience. We're getting his flashback right now in this episode. He had a child too. That's so sad for Henry to say. Poor Henry. He's still sad about Graham's death. The curse was so close to breaking, and then Regina found a way to stop it by killing Graham. Oh, man. It makes a good longer story, though. Oh, shoot. Oof. No, that's not what she's saying. Oh, shoot. Oh my goodness, does Regina have the power to fire her? Nope. Emma's gonna get her job back. Loud music! I'm just dancing to the music. Beat Regina? That's a great idea. She's gonna find a loophole where Regina has no authority to fire her. Whatever. The mayor can't decide who's sheriff. He's a coward. He ran from the war when he was young. Bullies. This is before Rumple became all scaly and things. Exactly. We're doing a vote. It's like remember every 4 years someone runs for president and we have to vote for which one. Is it Biden or Donald Trump, right? Well, who's gonna be sheriff? Emma Swan or Sidney Glass? Who do you vote for? Well, all magic comes with a price, and if you take the power, you become the Dark One. Oh, yeah. Henry was born in jail. Everyone makes mistakes. Emma's a better person now. That is true. The more deals you make with Rumple, the more in debt you will be with him. And the more bad it could possibly end up for you. Rumple is actually a worser villain, if you think about it. That's you. That's how you. That's how you do elections. Literal fire. That was not a metaphor. The building's on fire. Get out. You're teaching your son to be a coward? Hmm. Wood burns in the real world. They save people. They don't let people die in fire. Regina broke her ankle. Did Emma really rescue my mom? Henry says. We don't have to fight dirty. People just need to help. Emma recognizes something. I don't think the fire was on I don't think the fire was on accident. Someone caused it. Oh, there's a hidden Mickey. Did you see it? There's a hidden Mickey in his shop. There's Mickey again, if you see it. Mickey's behind Emma's butt. Sorry. There's Disney cameos, because this is kind of a Disney show. It wasn't when it aired, but Disney owned it after it ended on ABC. You just paid it. Rumple caused the fire. You know, one thing about something I forgot to mention, because I wanted to wait for it to happen, but you know, Sheriff Graham's death. The actor got a big offer to be in a movie called 50 Shades of Grey, and it was too big of an offer to pass, so he had to leave the show, and after that, he could not come back to television because he was too popular. And so, that's why they had to kill him on the show. He was originally going to be Emma's like, boyfriend. He was originally going to be Emma's true love, but the writers had to change their plans when he announced that he had to leave the show, and that's why they had to kill him early on. Only 7 episodes into the show, and he's dead. You know, they were planning to have him for seasons, but plans change when actors get bigger roles or when contracts change. That's the dagger. The Dark One dagger. Zuzo is the Dark One. Right now in the flashback. Figured it was a perfect time to talk because there was no talking involved. There was just action. So now to a talking scene. Snow, David, and Mary Margaret. Regina is a Sydney fan. If you can see the boat she's holding in her hand. It's a fair point. You just answered your own question, Emma. That is the point. You're his mother, and you're the savior in his book. There's Rumple. Will Emma tell the audience the truth that Rumple caused the fire? He didn't come. Whoa! There he is. You're mean. How dare you call him that? He's a great son. But by killing him, something's gonna happen. That's the beggar, the one who took care of him a couple nights ago. That's the title of the episode. Desperate Soul. He knows how to recognize a desperate soul. Every dark one knows how to recognize someone desperate. Like Rumple, knowing how Emma's desperate to be sheriff. Alright. Reveal the dagger. Reveal it. When you kill the Dark One, you become the Dark One. Rumpelstiltskin is the new Dark One. And Dark Ones are immortal. They don't die. This flashback took place 200 years ago. And so you're wondering why is Rumple still alive if it's 200 years? He's immortal. Glass swan. Yep, that's something that someone would make you buy. A glass swan. Funny two last names. Alright, I'll be quiet. Poor Emma, don't throw away your chance at power. Rumple didn't. He became the Dark One. Surely you could become Sheriff, which is the real world term of Dark One. But you don't become immortal when you're Sheriff of Syracuse or Clearfield. See, we're moving on from Sheriff Graham's death. It's happy now. Don't worry, he's not making Henry drink. Emma's Sheriff! She won! What's next? Emma's President of the United States? Just kidding. No. Rumple does make a good enemy, but he does make a good benefactor. Or in other words, he does good at helping people rise to power. Standing up to Mr. Gold is what got Emma to be sheriff. Uh-oh. Welcome our new Dark One, Rumpelstiltskin, in the past. This is gonna be a little violent, pre-warning. You should have never bullied him. He's gonna repay you. Rumple, Rumple, Rumple. This is how he became a villain. As soon as he took that power and became the Dark One, he's evil. The new Dark One. Dark One is a villain. Don't ever be the Dark One unless you want to be evil. No, Rumple! Don't do this in front of your son! Oh my goodness. You may have saved your son from joining the army, but now people are scared of you. He's a new Dark One, and you just killed people in front of him. What any child would be scared of their own father killing? Alright, that violent scene is over now, so. There's the sheriff's jacket. Emma, it was meant for you. You gotta wear it. He planned it all. He didn't just plan he didn't just. Mm-hmm. See, the beggar knew how to recognize the desperate soul, and Rumple knows how to recognize the desperate soul. But he didn't turn Emma into a dark one, thank goodness. That's our episode cliffhanger right there. All right, well that's episode 8. I was gonna say something, but I didn't want to ruin the end of that episode there. Um, okay, I'm getting episode 9 ready, but I don't want it to play yet. I want to say something. Um, okay. So, so Rumble planned the entire thing. So he just revealed at the end that he didn't plan the fire. He did plan the fire, but he knew that wasn't gonna work. He wanted Emma to expose the truth. Most villains, they don't want that to happen, right? Most people, if they set a fire, they don't want to get caught. But Rumple purposely wanted to get caught, so then that way everyone could vote for Emma, who stood up to Mr. Gold, because no one in this town is brave enough to step up to Mr. Gold except for Regina. And, everyone's cursed, and everyone, in everyone's cursed real life, not fairy tale life, in real life, everyone's cursed real life. Everyone's scared of the mayor, and they're scared of Regina. The mayor and Mr. Gold, who owns the town. And so, just to see someone stand up against Mr. Gold without any fear, is a lot of bravery. And, who wouldn't want to vote for Emma Swan after standing up against Mr. Gold? And so Rumple purposely planned that. It sounded like he didn't, but he knew that was going to happen. And that's how he got everyone to win him over. To vote for Emma. So anyway, if it weren't for Rumple, Emma would have not won that election. And so, Rumple, even though he's a bad guy, and he killed a bunch of people in front of his son, he's technically a misunderstood good guy too, because every story has two different sides. You have evil, good versus evil. You have the protagonist and you have the antagonist, right? There's a villain in every story. So in this season, it's mostly Regina who's being the villain here. Even though Rumple was a villain, he's not really doing anything much evil. In flashback, I know he just killed someone. But, so many people. But, so many knights. But in the present, he hasn't killed anyone. And Regina is pretty much the big bad for the present day. And so anyway, Rumple can sometimes be good. Because, he's not on Regina's side. Of course, he wanted Regina to cast the curse. And that's what kind of makes him a villain. But, he's also sometimes a hero. He just doesn't stay on one side. He jumps from one side to the other. One episode he's good, the next episode he's evil. In this episode, he was both. He was evil in the past, but he was good in the present. He wanted Emma to win, and in the long term, hopefully break the curse. But Regina doesn't know that, and he thinks that Rumple's still on her side. But anyway, he wants Emma to win against Regina. So anyway, so that's good on Rumple's part. And remember, if you remember the Cinderella episode, Emma owes Rumple a favor. And so, now that she is sheriff, hopefully Emma has what it takes to pay him back. So, that will come into play later in the show. So, anyway, we're going to start the next episode now. Sorry about all that. I just wanted to say all that. We're going to start episode 9. It's called True North. This is the episode that kind of relates to Emma's childhood. There's no flashback about Emma's childhood. This is a total different episode. But remember how I told you in Cinderella episode how Cinderella was pregnant and she was going through the similar situation that Emma went through when she was pregnant? But Emma had to give up Henry, and Cinderella kept her baby. This is not about Cinderella, but this is another story similar to Emma's childhood that you can kind of find connectable. It has something to do with Emma being an orphan, and so anyway, yeah. So this episode is about orphans, not about Emma, but it is about orphans, and you can kind of relate that because Emma was an orphan without parents, right? Living in the real world for 28 years. So anyway, we're gonna watch an orphan-based episode, and so if you could push episode 9 on Disney Plus or DVD or whatever, give you a few I'll give you a few seconds to load the episode. Once you do, pause the video, pause the episode, rewind it, make sure it's at 0 seconds. If it's at 0 seconds, the timestamp should say that there's 43 minutes and 49 seconds left. Not that you watched 43 minutes, but there is 43 minutes and 49 seconds left. 0 seconds. We're going to push play. Not when I say 1, when I say now. 3. Hopefully I gave you enough time to get it ready. 3, 2, 1, now. No recap. It's just a gingerbread house. No recap. Okay, sweet. Who loves Marvel? Hulk versus old Wolverine. Who loves Marvel? Well, we're about to find out. Welcome to our flashback. Timber! Hansel and Gretel. That's our fairy tale. Aw, the compass cracked. The evil queen. Mm-hmm. shoot. Eat anything. Mary Margaret is your mom, you just don't know it. That's a cute story. Nope. Well, you technically did. You just didn't realize you found them. It's the blind witch! Run! That's probably gonna take some getting used to. Emma becoming sheriff. Forgiveness for setting a fire up and getting Emma to expose you. It's blank. Well, maybe you flipped it over so no one could see it. Oof. Emma's coming from experience because her parents abandoned her. Not on purpose, it was because of a curse, but. For anyone wondering, I lost connection again. It didn't stop the episode, but it stopped my YouTube recording, and that's upsetting. I'm gonna figure out how to transfer this Facebook stream to YouTube when we're done. Oof. See, Emma lied. Henry, Henry's father. Poor, poor, poor. Emma, you lied to Henry. He's not a fireman. This is gonna be explored in season 2 about Henry's father. Uh-oh. Oh boy, that's how Hansel and Gretel escaped. Burn the blind witch alive. And Regina finishes the job. Another character dies, but we barely know her. Sheriff Graham, at least known for 7 episodes. I would have gone gravy. Wow, our night is coming to an end soon. That's crazy. It's a poison apple she's gonna use on Snow White. Not with Regina. That would be nice, but not with Regina. I wouldn't want to live with her. I wouldn't want to live with Regina. No, I don't want to live with Regina. Oh, good bravery coming from Hansel. You should have took her deal. Oh, maybe never mind, right? Regina's not doing anything to torture them. She's sending them somewhere else. Mm-hmm. What's gonna happen? Because no one can leave town. That's how the fairy tale goes. Snow White lives with dwarfs after you send the huntsman to run her away. That's a cool message. We're family, and family always finds each other. You can all be together as a family, but you have to find one another. Family's important. This show has great themes in it. It's a family show. It's great for kids and parents to learn together what it means to be a family. Hansel and Gretel will find their father in the present. We all know that. Though it does take 28 years, but they don't know that because they'll be cursed. But breadcrumbs. Hansel and Gretel off on a journey to find their father. That's the story of Hansel and Gretel and Once Upon a Time. Oh my goodness, we're down to the final few minutes of this episode. Tonight, I don't want it to be over. Compass, it's working. Cracked, but working. What a coincidence. He's a mechanic, so if the car is stalled, he has no choice but to run into them. But he couldn't leave anyway, so... According to the curse. But of course she doesn't believe that. Aww, is he gonna take his children home? Poor Emma, you can't wait to have your moment. Just wait until the curse breaks and it will be interesting. Aww. What a great episode to end on. The story about a family reunited. Maybe. You will find out when the curse breaks. Let go. Let go of your parents? But they are looking at you. That you just don't know. This is gonna be awkward. And you're the same age, so I can see why you don't believe your mother and daughter. They have the same chin, isn't that something? They are mother and daughter, but the curse putting them at the same age and making it reality doesn't say so. Aw, pretty blanket. Aw, if only the curse was broken, she would have just met her mother right now. They just don't know they're mother and daughter because of the curse. You know, some people thought when Mary Margaret smelt the baby blanket, she would remember her fairy tale life. But look, she just threw it away and ignored the thought. So it didn't break her. It didn't break the curse on her, sadly. And like I said, it will not break till the end of the season. Pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie set aside. Yeah. That's your nickname for the curse from Cinderella. Pumpkin. I'm glad I told you. Aw. Oh, really? She is changing things. Time has been moving. She's become sheriff. How many more changes do we have to go through before the curse breaks, right? Someone's here. A stranger from the outside. Mm-hmm. What's the name? A random stranger in Storybrooke. Uh-oh, that's new. Strangers don't come to Storybrooke. But now they do. That could be bad. The real world finds out about Storybrooke. That would not be good. Alright. Well, that wraps up today's episodes with an S, because we did 3. Oh, boy. Wow. So, yeah, that stranger is actually a fairy tale character. So, I'll leave it to you guys. Who do you think the stranger is? Because it's not really it's not going to ruin your experience of the show really too much that he's a fairy tale character. But if I tell you who he is, it will ruin your experience. So yeah, not much of a spoiler. This guy's a fairy tale character, but the show has not yet revealed who this guy is. So, who do you think this guy is? He's a fairy tale character, and we haven't seen him till now. Who do you think this stranger is? I'll leave that up to you guys to find out. But until then, that wraps up tonight's episodes of Once Upon a Time. Boy, what a good night it has been. We started with a very sad and violent episode, but things started to get better. Emma became sheriff, and then we got a sweet family-oriented episode about family and, kids finding their father, Hansel and Gretel, the little story that Disney actually never made a movie of. This is a fairy tale that's actually just a fairy tale. It's not even a Disney movie. I don't know any Disney movie named Hansel and Gretel, but I do know the story. From childhood things, Hansel and Gretel, they find a gingerbread house, if I remember right. And then they find a witch who wants to capture them, but they escape. So yeah. Hansel and Gretel in Once Upon a Time. So, we have, okay, I talked a little bit in between episodes, and we had the Wi-Fi problem. So, we do not have exactly 15 minutes of Q&A, but we still have 10 minutes, so any questions, y'all? I don't know. I don't think anyone has any. It's frustrating that my live stream on YouTube kind of shut down. But luckily the Facebook one is on, so I'm gonna figure out why. It looks like there's no comments. No one sent any comments. So no comments. Okay, well, that kind of takes out the questions, but I'll just have to ask you guys some. Who do you think the stranger is? And how do you like the show so far? We've now been through 9 episodes, so each season has 22. I know most shows now only do like 10. So if we were doing something else, we would be almost done with season 1, but we're not. We're only almost halfway. Next week we cover episodes 10 through 12, and there's 22. So if you do the math, you go halfway, there's 11 episodes. So next week we will hit the halfway point, but not tonight. So we're also skipping Mother's Day, so that adds an extra week to our season. But yeah, what did you think? Well, we might not be exactly halfway through season 1, and it might, you might be wondering when are they going to break the curse. Yeah, most people, even the actors and the writers themselves, when they started the show, they were originally planning the curse to break at the end of the series. And even when they didn't, the actors still thought that the curse was not going to be broken till the end of the series. And here am I spoiling that, they're just going to break the curse at the end of season one. So that tells you with 7 seasons, there's going to be more story after the curse is broken. And you're probably wondering, how are they going to continue the show if they break the curse in season one? Well, because everyone gets cursed to our world and they forget who they are, just because that's the premise of the show doesn't mean it has to stay that way. That's just the premise of the first season. That's just how the show starts. But as you continue on and as you can progress through the show, you find out that the premise is not just about people forgetting who they are and living in the real world. There's other things that happen. But things that I won't spoil about. But there's a reason why the curse breaks at the end of season one, because it's not the end of the story. There's more to be told. But because we're not at the end of season one yet, we still have a while, and you're probably wondering, when are they going to start picking up the pace? Well, you can kind of see they kind of picked up the pace. They almost broke the first time they almost broke the curse. Was in episode 7, and then the huntsman died before they had a chance to break it. And then we saw Emma becoming sheriff. That's a big progression of the story. It's a big plot point that Emma becomes sheriff in order to break the curse. So that is a big plot point. Episode 9 was kind of it wasn't a letdown, I won't say that, but it was kind of, I'm trying to think of the right word. It was I'm not saying it was a good episode, but episode 9 was kind of a slow progression. The season started picking up in episode 7 and 8, and then we kind of slowed down to introduce Hansel and Gretel in episode 9. So yeah, there's that, but it wasn't a bad episode, and it kind of relates to Emma's childhood, because she was in the same situation. Her parents abandoned her, and for 20 years, she has not yet met them yet. She hasn't yet found them, and so it's kind of sad how she grew up without parents, and she's still, as an adult, it's kind of sad, because when you find your parents, you no longer become an orphan. But Emma's all grown up now, and the fact that she still couldn't find her parents, she technically found them, but they're cursed, so that's why they don't know their mother, father, daughter. So in a way, she doesn't find them till season 2, but she's at least, us as audience know, even if the characters don't know it, us as an audience know that Emma found her parents. She just doesn't realize it. But again, it still doesn't happen until she's 28 years old. And so, she's already an adult, and so there's no way to change her past about being an orphan. If you don't find your parents till after you're 18, you can't deny the fact that you grew up as an orphan. It's easy to deny if you find your parents at 10. Henry's not an orphan because he found Emma at 10. And plus, Regina adopted him as a baby, so you can't even say he started out as an orphan. Not really. He was, And so anyway, but once you're 18 and you still haven't found your parents, you have to accept the fact that you were an orphan, and your parents probably had good reason for it. So that episode was pretty essential, I would say. Not for this season, but for the show overall. It kind of gives you an idea of what Emma went through. These they call these episodes kind of episodic. Episodic means when a series, especially back when they used to do 22 episodes a season, when they have filler, it's called a filler episode. A filler episode is when they have episodes where they focus on other characters and they distract from the main storyline. This kind of is one of those episodes, but at the same time, it kind of does connect, because gives you an idea of what Emma went through, and she's the main character, so it's good to know a little more about her, even if it's through someone else. And so that's the thing about this show, is that they might have a lot of filler episodes, but they do have at least one tie-in to the main storyline. And sometimes it's good to take a break of after Sheriff Graham dying and Emma becoming sheriff. That's a lot to take in, so it's sometimes good to take a break and focus on someone else for 1 or 2 episodes. So, yeah, pretty understandable. I guess if that's all the questions. If no one has questions, we could almost wrap up. It's 9:27, so it's about that time. But yeah, interesting. I'm kind of upset that YouTube ended while we were watching. Luckily, because I know I started the YouTube one first, the first couple minutes, I can just delete that live stream and move this over to YouTube, I hope. Luckily it's not that upsetting because once I move this over to YouTube and I delete the other one, the only 2 minutes you missed was me talking about how I when I started this. Do you remember what I said at the beginning of the live stream? I was saying, oh, I was just telling my YouTube people about how sometimes when I start at 6:50, blah blah blah, I start one live stream first and then I do the other. So when you're looking for me at 6:50, don't look for me exactly at 6:50 because you don't know what live stream I'm gonna start first. And so anyway, even though I started the YouTube one first, the first 2 minutes was basically me just rambling on about starting at 6:50 and saying sorry for starting late last week. Now we have a new issue. We started on time, but YouTube ended while we were still live on Facebook, and I'm kind of upset about that. It was in the middle of episode 8, and I didn't even know, because I looked at the runtime, it said an hour, so an hour would be 7:50, which we ended the first episode at 7:45, so it was right when we were watching episode 8, so that's frustrating, but luckily we have our Facebook one. If this Facebook one ended, I don't know what I would do with myself. I'd be so upset. I would hate to have to redo these episodes again. I just like starting where I left off, and so anyway, that would be frustrating. Frustrating enough to almost want to cancel this thing, and so I hope we don't keep running into issues every week. Luckily, we started on time, and everyone on Facebook, you had no issues whatsoever, so you're fine. But everyone on YouTube must be disappointed because they're like, where did Ben go? What happened? I'm gonna have to just figure out how to move this over to YouTube. I'm looking up instructions right now. I actually did during this episode because it was episode 9 that I found out we weren't going live. So our live stream ended right when we started episode 8, but I just continued assuming that we were still live. And then episode 9 comes in, and I just suddenly thought, I wonder how many people are watching over on YouTube. It's a good thing I checked, otherwise I would have not been disappointed yet, having saved my disappointment for after the live stream. But luckily, I decided to check while we were watching episode 9, and it was about halfway through the episode, and I'm like, and this is like another hour later. It's like 2 hours. It's like 9:50 now, and well, not 9:50, 8:50. Maybe it was more like 9 o'clock actually. So 2 hours from when we started the show, not the live stream. And I'm like, oh no, what happened? It's only an hour long. Who ended my live stream while I was watching? It must have been the Wi-Fi. When we disconnect Wi-Fi, it stops the stream. Didn't stop it on Facebook, so that's a miracle. But because don't you need Wi-Fi to go live on Facebook? At least I can't access Facebook on my phone unless I'm within data or Wi-Fi. So anyway, despite frustrating, we still got through this live stream. We started on time, so we fixed last week's issues. Now we have a new week of issues. So. Except I can't control whenever my Wi-Fi turns off. It actually does this on a daily basis. It turns off every once in a while, and it just so happened to turn off during our live stream. So, yeah, we don't have steady Wi-Fi. Maybe I need to do my live stream somewhere else. Maybe that's a good thing, because why do we need Back to the Future posters in the background when this is about Once Upon a Time? So maybe I should find a new location. But until then, I hope you have a great week. I just saw our live stream has hit the 2 hours and 40 minutes. It is officially 9:30 now, so we are going overtime now. So I better just stop now. So anyway, it was a good live stream overall, especially for those on Facebook. If I somehow get this moved over to YouTube, I apologize for all those YouTube people watching out there. Hopefully you can still watch this on your own time, and look forward to seeing you next week for episodes 10 through 12. We had no problem. Ouch! I hit my thumb. I hit my elbow. Ouch. Ouch. Okay. Maybe that was a sign to stop. But, all I'm gonna say is, I hope we don't run into any more problems next week. Ouch. I should have not said that. Ouch. Alright. Let that be a sign to end this live stream. As now we're 2 hours and 41 minutes. We're 2 minutes over the time we're supposed to end. So, alright, guys. See you next week. Bye.